So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are all well. So guys, let's talk Danny Garcia, Errol Spence. Angel Garcia, the outspoken father of Danny Garcia, I said give Danny Garcia credit when he knocks out Errol Spence. Give Danny Garcia credit when he knocks out Errol Spence. I don't want to hear any excuses. Now, Danny Garcia is in a bit of a difficult situation. Now, of course, he would, if he wins this fight, it will beat Errol Spence. I don't see it, by the way. I think Errol Spence is going to win. I have Errol Spence to win this fight. That's who I'm picking. But there are a lot of question marks. There are a lot of answers that need to be answered in this fight from Errol Spence. But if Danny Garcia wins this fight, right, especially via knockout, everyone's going to say Errol Spence, the accident affected him, the accidents ruined him, he's not the same fighter. These are the things that are going to be spouted around if Errol Spence loses against Danny Garcia. So Danny Garcia, even after winning, even if he wins such a big fight and probably one of the hardest fights in the welterweight division, he's not going to get the credit. If I'm totally honest with you, he's not going to get the credit, in my opinion. So he's in a difficult place. Listen, I like Danny Garcia. I think he's a good fighter. I don't think he's the most talented guy out there, but like I said, he does everything good. He has a few weaknesses, like his feet are slow. He's not got the quickest of hands, but he can punch. He's got good timing. He's got a good chin. He's very determined. He always brings the fight. So he's by no means a pushover for anybody, Danny Garcia. But if he beats Errol Spence, there's definitely going to be excuses in this fight, because people just can't see Danny Garcia winning this fight. Now, when you look at what Danny Garcia has done in his career, he's had a very good career. You know, he's always competed at a very high level. He's always had tough fights. He's won some very big fights. He's taken 2 close losses against Porter and Thurman, which were very close. This fight is a fight where Danny Garcia knows he wins this fight, this would surpass anything he's done in his career. Now, I know Danny Garcia is playing it down, and he said he's had big fights. He has had some big fights. Those 2 wins against Amir Khan and and Lucas Matisse were massive wins. However, to be fair, he was a massive underdog against Khan. You know, he was a huge underdog. I think this fight, he's probably as big a underdog as he was against Khan. I think that's the only time in his career where he's been a massive underdog, right? Where he's been a huge underdog, like he is going up against Errol Spence. He was a huge underdog against Khan, and he's a huge underdog against Errol Spence. Errol Spence, there's question marks around him, because people think Errol Spence is one of the best pound-for-pound fighters. If Danny Garcia pulls this off, everyone's going to say, because people don't, although Danny Garcia's had a great career, he's had some great wins, I don't think people rate Danny Garcia that highly. He's never been rated. He's never been ranked in the top 10 pound for pound. And he's always kind of had a chip on his shoulder, because he felt like, I've achieved so much and my resume is so much better than most of these guys, but I've never ever got the credit. And it's one of them where if he beats Errol Spence, he's probably still not going to get the credit, because people are just going to say, well, Errol Spence wasn't the same after the car crash. So Danny Garcia's in a tricky situation here, because he's not going to get the credit even if he wins. People are just going to say that Errol Spence wasn't the same. So Danny Garcia's kind of, most fighters, like taking a fight like Danny Garcia is against Spence, are in a win-win situation, because they're expected to lose. If he puts in a great performance, you know, his stock will go up. If he wins the fight, then people will say, oh, well, they'll put him up there. But with this fight, because of Errol Spence's accident, people are just going to say Errol Spence wasn't the same man, rather than give Danny Garcia any credit. And it may just be Danny Garcia wins legitimately, because like I said, he's a good fighter. But On the other hand, I feel Errol Spence has got to make a statement as well. I think Errol Spence, he's had a good win against Brook. I think the Mikey Garcia, was a good win. He went 12 rounds. But the Sean Porter fight was a fight where a lot of people thought it was close and Porter could have nicked it. It wasn't a statement kind of performance. I was expecting a much better performance. A performance where I felt he would stop Porter. He did put Porter down, but Porter came back and he fought valiantly after being knocked down in the 11th. And just throughout the fight, I think Porter had a lot more success than I thought he would. In this fight, a lot of people, again, seem to think that Danny Garcia's style is made for Spence. We saw Tim Bradley saying Danny Garcia is made for Errol Spence. So Errol Spence has got to prove it. He's got to prove it in this fight. And like I said, we don't know if he's the same man. There's a lot of questions, a lot of people saying, Errol Spence don't sound right. I don't want to go speculate into that because I don't know. That, like Angel Garcia said, is the doctors have cleared him to fight. If the doctors have cleared him to fight, then he's okay to fight. And if he's okay to fight, that's it. There shouldn't be any excuses because the doctors have cleared him to fight. If it's a case where the doctors have said, no, he shouldn't be fighting, and they're still going ahead with it, then that's crazy from people behind Errol Spence. But I just can't wait for this fight. I think the intrigue makes this fight very exciting. A fully fit, 100% firing Errol Spence for me would beat Danny Garcia comfortably, or beat him well, in my opinion. However, because of the accident, we don't know whether Errol Spence's punch resistance is going to be there. We don't know whether his speed, timing, we don't know. Now, sparring is one thing, in training is one thing. You're not under pressure. Here, when you're in a fight and the bright lights are above, there's a lot of pressure. It's a different situation. Is he going to be able to handle that? Only time will tell. Listen, a lot of people think that Errol Spence will knock out Danny Garcia. I don't see it. I think Danny Garcia is too tough. If I'm honest with you, I think Danny Garcia's got too good a chin. He's shown it that he's got a granite chin. We saw him get hit with a massive shot against Keith Thurman and it just bounced off his chin. I can't see Errol Spence stopping Danny Garcia. I can't. If it does, he'd be making a statement, that's for sure, because Danny Garcia, as we know, has got a granite chin. Errol Spence mentioned that himself. If Errol Spence knocks out Danny Garcia, that would be a statement win for Errol Spence. A statement win. That would be an impressive performance if Errol Spence gets the knockout. I can't see it. I think it's a 12-round fight. I think it's a fight that goes the distance and Spence wins on points. But I honestly, if a knockout's going to come in this fight, I think it's going to be Danny knocking out Spence, not the other way around. I think Errol Spence will win a comfortable points decision. That will be my prediction. But I feel if there's anyone that's going to get knocked out, it's probably Spence. Danny Garcia's chin is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Danny Garcia has probably one of the best chins up there with Canelo and Golovkin in the whole of boxing. His chin is unbelievable. I've watched this guy, Matisse fight, the Khan fight, the Lamont Peterson fight, the Thurman fight, the Porter fight. This guy he was getting hit with big shots in all of those fights. I remember watching the Khan fight. Khan was battering him, and he just took those shots. In the Matisse fight, Matisse landed huge bombs, and he just took them. Thurman landed in the first round, landed a massive right hand. And it looked like it almost taken him out, and he got back. He just recovered so quickly. The guy's got a granite chin. Fair. I don't think Danny Garcia has ever been down. So like I said, and he's been in there with some really, really good fighters as well. It's not like he's been in there with poor level opposition. He's been in there with top level opposition, and he's shown a great chin. So yeah, I'm expecting a tough 12-round. Hard-fought win for Errol Spence. But if Errol Spence stops Danny Garcia, which I don't see, that would be a statement win. That would be an impressive statement win from him. Which, to be fair, at one point when I first saw Errol Spence against Kell Brook, I did think that Errol Spence was going to... Basically, when Errol Spence fought Sean Porter, I thought Errol Spence would blow Sean Porter away. I did. Even though Sean Porter's tough and he's rugged and he comes and brings it and he's got a great chin as well, I just thought Errol Spence would be too much. I thought he's technically too good. I think the wild punches that Sean Porter throws, I thought Errol Spence would take advantage of that, but he didn't. He showed he was as good as the other guys that fought Sean Porter and beat him in Kell Brook and Thurman, and I thought Errol Spence was a level above those guys. But that fight showed me that there's still a lot of questions to be answered from Errol Spence. Yeah, he managed to get a close win, but that made me think that, you know, the Crawford fight, the Pacquiao fight, the Thurman fight, the Danny Garcia fight, it made me think that those fights weren't going to be easy for Errol Spence, you know, and it made you question whether he is the best welterweight. Whereas before I felt he was the best welterweight in the world, that fight made me question, because there's other great welterweights that can definitely give Errol Spence a very, very hard fight and beat him. Like Crawford's an exceptional fighter. Like Garcia, he's going to fight. He's a very good fighter. Pacquiao, although he's older, he's still a very, very good fighter. And, you know, Keith Thurman, you know, I think Keith Thurman's a better boxer than Danny Garcia. And he's a bigger puncher. So that, for me, is a very, very good fight as well. And Errol Spence says he's not interested in fighting Thurman. But really, that's an excellent fight. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If Danny Garcia knocks out Errol Spence, will he get the credit? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. Make sure to like the video. I really appreciate it. All the likes that I've been getting. It's really helping the channel, really helping the algorithm. Guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.